In Undiscovered, Peruvian journalist and writer Gabriela Viner is charting and exploring her complicated relationship with her ancestry and how she moves through the world as a result of that. This is a nonfiction book sitting somewhere between autofiction and memoir. Essentially, Gabriela's great great grandfather, I think I'm getting the right number of grades there, was a French Austrian archaeologist and explorer who went to Peru, and he was basically a vaquero, and he just robbed all of these special sites, right? He just took all the stuff in very colonialist fashion and brought it back to France. So he's stealing all this stuff and calling it science. And in the meantime, he gets this Peruvian indigenous woman pregnant, and thus Gabriela. So in this book, Gabriela, is exploring the actual text that Viner wrote, including its extremely racist things that he says in there. There's some crazy stuff in there. Like, she talks about human zoos. She talks about how her ancestor, this Viner guy, literally stole a little boy, an indigenous Peruvian boy, and like shipped him off to France somewhere. Like, that's crazy. And so he actually plays a pretty big role in the narrative because Gabriella, is like wrestling with this question of what happened to this boy? And she sees herself in him in a lot of ways. At the same time, she is also charting her polyamorous relationship. She's married, she has a husband, and then she also has a girlfriend. And it's interesting because she's like charting her relationship struggles and how she's trying to decolonize sex and romance and desire. And at the same time, she's sort of exploring this in relationship to her father, who recently passed away, and he was a revolutionary. He like took on this separate life, this double life, where he would like put an eye patch on and pretend to be like a totally different person. And he had this other woman that he was with. She's sort of exploring that in relationship to her own polyamory, because I think her dad said something like, "Oh, well, like if that existed in my day," it's not like it was invented or anything, but I think what she does a good job of is really gripping onto how things are just like really enmeshed into each other and how everything is interconnected. Explores everything with nuance, and she is searching for commonalities as a way to understand, but not as a way to remove accountability. She never removes accountability from the equation.